this will be a somewhat shorter review. Despite that, I gotta say this figure is surprisingly enjoyable for what it is. It's just kinda simple, hence why this review won't be very long. Greetings people of YouTube, I'm Screaming Star, and in this video I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beast Deluxe Class SCORPONOK. Now, this figure might require a bit of explanation. In Transformers Rise of the Beast, we saw a bunch of Scorponoks being a part of Scourge's army, yet we never saw a robot mode design from them. However, apparently there are some unused concept art for a robot mode design for these guys, and this seems to be that design manifested in toy form. Gotta say, so far, it's a pretty neat design. And when I finally cracked this guy out of his box, I can say that this figure is pretty neat in itself. Despite its somewhat basic nature, it manages to keep me entertained in various ways. But his accessory is kind of lacking in that regard, because this tail, let's be honest here, is not really an accessory now, is it? It looks fantastic, appropriately long and bumpy, don't take that out of context. Please. Sure, it can be detached and used as a weapon, but this looks impractical and I'm not a big fan of it. It is an option, and more power to you if you like how this looks, but I personally prefer to just plug the tail in where it should be. In his ass. No, that's literally where you put it. It's not even a joke. What am I, a chubby little hung clone? Get out of here. And I'm running out of things to say here, so let's bring out our boy here and talk about the aesthetics, because man, does he look great. SCORPONOK here have never appeared in the movie like this, but man, this is a banging design. It looks creepy, gangly, just what I'd expect Scorpy Boy here to transform into. And with said gangly appearance, maybe this makes do for an Evangelion custom? I'll cook something up later. And not to mention, it is a neat homage to his Beast Wars design, appropriate for a Beast Wars adaptation, unlike the rest of the film. While this head sculpt barely looks like that Beast Wars design, it is just creepy as hell, and I love it for the fact. The hands do lack 5mm ports, but they look so vicious and dangerous in themselves that I wouldn't really want it any other way. I gotta love the fine mechanical texturing that we can see throughout the body as well. His back is a bit kibbly, but I do believe it is concept art accurate, so it's good for something, I guess. Now, one thing that makes SCORPONOK here so fun to play with is that he's extremely solid and fun to handle, which is thankfully the case with most modern Transformers figures. Not content with great aesthetics and solidity, SCORPONOK here, okay, I promise I'll stop saying his name like that. SCORPONOK actually has some fire posability. Let me show you. Now, the posability here isn't exactly perfect, but it's pretty neat. The head sits on a weird angle in this ball joint here, and it rotates in a weird way, but it still works. And there's also a hinge joint here if you want to use that at all. Side note, on my copy, there's this faceplate thing that likes to come off easily. Really annoying. I should just glue that back in. Shoulders can rotate 360. They have this type of shoulder design, which goes into the torso instead of the actual shoulder. One of my biggest problems with the posability, but oh well, it still works in moving outward that much. Tight bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, my favorite. Ball joint at the wrists, which can swivel and move this way. Waist rotation, more like crotch rotation, honestly, but it does the job perfectly fine. Legs can kick forward that far, back that far. He can do the splits, thigh swivel, bend at the knee, and due to the structure of the foot, it's basically just the toes that move. They're on ball joints, so they have a slight swivel, move forward that far, back that far, and a pretty good pivot. The heel sticks up at a weird angle, so just be wary of that. And finally, there's the tail. Hinge joint here and a hinge joint here. And if you notice this little port here, he can stab his own ass. So yeah, not the best, not remarkable, but he's still posable enough to warrant a strike a pose segment. So that was neat. Nothing spectacular, but it's pretty fun. Especially when putting him next to my other ROTB characters, which you shall see in these size comparisons. Here's SCORPONOK next to Rise of the Beasts Bumblebee, Cheetor, Rhinox, Terrorcon Freezer, Battletrap. Comparing him to a regular 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Mr. Knight, and finally, the YOLO Park Scourge. Man, these Terrorcons look so cool together. I still need a Nightbird, but whatever. Now, a good robot mode is indeed important, but for this guy specifically, I think the alternate mode will be the main selling point, since, you know, it's actually what we saw in the goddamn movie. So why don't we just take a look at his transformation? Badass. That's what this mode is to me. I really like scorpions in general, so having this sizable mechanical scorpion is just pretty neat. The mechanical details in the robot mode are still present, nothing new to see here, not even the head sculpt. But if I gotta be honest, I don't mind it at all. If anything, it's a clever use of robot mode kibble, and I do love how his shoulder pauldrons become his claws. That's just an extra bit of ingenuity. Articulation wise, he's a bit limited. Ball joint at the head, shoulders are on hinge joints, wish they could rotate, but ah well. Elbows bend, ball joint at the claw, two middle legs are on hinge joints, back legs are on ball joints, so are the feet, and finally a hinge joint at the excellent scorpion mode. Not much more to say. Well, I mean, I consider that he's pretty movie accurate, so there's that. Apart from the colors, but concept art. Oh, and remember when I said that he was pretty sizable? Yeah, he actually feels bigger than the robot mode for some reason. Ties comparisons.
Here's Scorponok in his Beast mode, next to Bumblebee, Cheetor, Rhinox, Freezer, Battle Trap, Mr. Knight, and finally, Scourge.
And there goes my review for the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beast Deluxe Class Scorponok. It's a pretty nifty figure, a fun fidget toy that's also cool to look at. I recommend it. It's not that expensive and you'll get some enjoyment out of it. But for your Rise of the Beast nerds, you might want to army build this figure, which is to say, if we are getting new repaints and retools of this figure in the future, I'll most likely get it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you all next time.
It's only appropriate that after we talk about a Beast Wars character, we talk about another one. This might take a while to make. I'm not guaranteeing a next week release.